Hello, my name is Corey Martin, and this is Establishing a Company in Ireland, my final project for BU250 VC. When you first think of Ireland, you may think of the beautiful lush green landscaping, or the enchanting castles that inhabit the beautiful countrysides. Or maybe you think of small pubs and good conversation. Either way, the beauty of the people and the nation are unmatchable. This country is full of warm, hospitable people that are hardworking and passionate about their heritage and the history that lies in their rich past. Even more amazing is that they are very family oriented and live a well balanced work to home lifestyle and are generally very warm and welcoming people. These are all very important factors that were taken into consideration when deciding to take my company to the country. Well, that and their infrastructure and some other perks the government offers for international startups as well. There will be there will still be some challenges that we'll cover later, but honestly, I believe the pros outweigh the cons. The culture in Ireland can be considered a pub culture. It is where people gather and socialize as well as network, and is not frowned upon to do a little business at your local pub. The primary language in the country is Gaelic, but at one time there were even more types of dialects spoken, but they had vanished around 1500 years ago. But many of the Irish citizens do speak English, especially in the more populated regions. Ireland also homes different types of music, such as Celtic music, which in my opinion has its own mythical sound that I have never quite heard in any other type of music I have ever listened to. Some of the holidays that I would have to respect as a business owner are the one we know the best is St. Patrick's Day, which we also celebrate here in America, and St. Bridget's Day, which is a celebration of the longer and warmer days that are to come and is celebrated in the spring. As we can see, the Irish people have quite the culture and history, and I will have to accommodate some things, but they are not that far fetched. With great culture, history, and pride comes another aspect that shapes and forms any nation in the world, and that is religion. The main religion that is practiced in Ireland is Christianity, which is really dominated by the Roman Catholic Church. With that being said, I would not have to change too much of my company beliefs or policies in order to fit in with the religion because it is also a dominant religion in America. Though it does seem that more and more people are going away from the Roman Catholic approach and are deciding to be more traditional Christians. The culture and beliefs of the people of Ireland are extremely important to me and my company, but if I have just great employees and no plan, I will be doomed to fail. So let's talk about some short term and long term plans and what to expect in the region's economy. The short term forecast in Ireland looks very promising. The European Commission has forecast that Ireland's GDP will grow by 5.6% this year, up from predicted rise of 4% in its summer forecast. The growth rate will mark the highest in the EU for 2019 and compares to a predicted EU average growth rate of 1.4% for this year and for 2020 and 2021. Irish growth forecast November 29th. This is great news for my company, being that it shows quite the growth in GDP, and the fact that the economic growth and job creations are accelerating also gives me hope. But in the long haul, it looks like I will have to plan for a possible slowdown due to a high uncertainty related to trade conflicts, rising geopolitical tensions, persistent weakness in the manufacturing sector, and Brexit. So for now, it looks like I will have a promising start, but as with any international market, I must stay aware of all geopolitical influences that may change at any given time. Now that I have generalized the idea of the culture, religion, and geopolitical aspects, I must decide on how I will choose my employees and what methods are generally utilized in Ireland. In our ever changing world of technology, the U.S. has adapted various ways of hiring personnel, and Ireland is no different. Pre selection criteria when screening applications were as follows: 46% use telephone interview, 42% opt for online ability technical tests, 39% used online psychometric test, while 37 now conduct video interviews. As you can see, the hiring process is not too far off from what we do here in the US, and I am sure that throughout the world, all of the new ways of communicating are being utilized for the same purposes. I will just have to make sure my technology is up to date. I also have to have some sort of criteria that I need my employees to meet prior to hiring them, and I must make sure that my criteria is up to par with the common criteria of other companies within the country. Here are some things that are looked at when hiring personnel in Ireland. Current research points to the continuing importance amongst employers at 65% of core competencies and employability skills for the particular job which the applicant is applying for. This must be coupled with an appropriate degree with an expected 2-to-1 result or better, which 54% of employers are looking for. In terms of what employers consider to be the most important attracting factors for recruiting graduates, 87% pointed to career development. 59% cited employer brand perception, with 35% pointing to starting salaries as being vital, and 32% saying work-life balance was very important. All of these aspects seem to be in line with my own criteria for employees, so I should not have any problem with justifying how I manage my hiring process. Another great factor, and maybe one of the greatest factors in running a successful business, is time and time management. Here in America, it never seems like we have enough time to get things accomplished. Many of us are overburdened and stressed out because we just don't have enough time. Well, we would be surprised how much we could accomplish if we were able to manage our time effectively. It seems that many of the companies I have worked for waste a lot of time on having meetings about the most ridiculous things. I went to a meeting that addressed how to not have so many meetings. I am not sure what the meeting really accomplished except for wasting more time. In Ireland, people are generally more laid back, but when it comes to businesses and time management, they do not mess around. The average workday for a person in Ireland is 39 hours, and the most government allows someone to work is only 48 hours. Being that they have a shorter work week and than most Americans, I would say time is nothing they can afford to waste. My current employer is from Ireland, and he has made it very clear that meetings are only called when something serious needs to be addressed or if a major event has occurred. We could learn a lot from that in America. As I said, I have been to meetings about having meetings. Such a waste of time. Business partnerships and relationships are treated very differently in Ireland. Some companies value other partnerships more than they do their relationships with personnel. In Ireland, the relationship aspect of business is very important to a company. They feel that each person is a potential way to network, and each relationship should be treated with much respect. However, if you are not on the right side of a relationship and you do harm a person or company, you will be ousted and may never gain the respect of the person or company again. Women in the workforce are treated as equals in Ireland, though I am sure that is not true all around, being that some people, no matter what country you are in, still look down upon a female in the workforce. It is said that just under 70% of women in Ireland are part of the workforce, which is very good compared to other parts of the world. Ireland also has the smallest gender pay gap in the UK, and the female unemployment rate is the lowest as well. I guess it would be easy to see why women would be treated as an equal in Ireland. They just seem to work and want to work just as hard as anyone else. The country also doesn't hold women to a higher or lesser standard either. They're all to work equally as hard at whatever the job is. Whether it is the logging or banking, they are all treated as an equal entity, and that should be for all countries. Ireland shows its true love and respect for women and families by offering women 42 weeks of maternity leave. But that is unpaid. However, you do get 26 weeks paid maternity leave through your employer. Also, if a company will not pay for your maternity leave, the government steps in and will pay the mother €235 per week. When my boss told me that, I was absolutely floored. That is such a great perk and just shows the commitment that the country has for not just the women, but for the families in general. In the U.S., we have several ways in which we are paid, whether it is weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or in some cases, people are paid each day they work. Ireland has the same type of system where there is no set structure on when a company must pay their employees. It is just determined by the employer. It does seem, though, that they are more likely to be paid weekly in Ireland, just as here in America. If you are to work in Ireland and would like to send your money back home to the States, it is a possibility, but you will have to pay an additional tax on that money. The information was given to me by my employer, who is from Ireland. He is currently working in our plant in Michigan on a 3-year contract before he returns to Ireland. Labor management relations in Ireland have a similar approach to the ones we have in America. The Irish have a rather democratic approach to hierarchy and do not see marked differences between managers and their subordinates. While in some large companies, senior level managers are the key decision makers, employees' opinions are still sought and considered before a final determination is made. This seems to be the same culture in a lot of different companies. Though I have worked in some companies where your opinion does not matter whether it be right or wrong, just or unjust. Employees also seem to seek praise for their hard work in Ireland, but they do not want it to be done in public, and it better not be false acknowledgement because that is frowned upon. Overall, employees in Ireland just want to be respected and want to have their voices heard. It is not so different than any other place. Unions are a big impact in Ireland. It seems they have one union body for the island, and it is called the ICTU. The ICTU, with 48 individuals affiliated trade unions. The ICTU covers both the Republic of Ireland, where there are 566,336 members, and Northern Ireland, where there are 211,800. The affiliated unions include unions based in both the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, as well as 21 British-based unions. There are only a handful of unions outside the ICTU. The largest in the national is the National Bus and Rail Union with 3,700 members. So as you can see, labor union in Ireland is a strong force. The business etiquette in Ireland is somewhat the same as in America as far as common gestures are concerned. The Irish shake hands before and after meetings. They tend to be less formal and more friendly than many of the other European countries as well. It is also common for people to hand out business cards and to use first names shortly after introductions. They are not the type to give you many gifts at meetings, but may be more inclined to invite you out to a pub or to dinner while doing business with them. To be honest, when I was deciding on which country I would like to do this assignment on, I only chose Ireland because I have always thought that it was a beautiful place and I have always wanted to go. I truly had no insight on the culture, religion, or anything else about the people or the country. Throughout life, I have always heard of Irish people drinking in pubs and fighting a lot. Throughout this assignment, though, I have found that they are generally kind-hearted and welcoming people. I guess stereotypes can always ruin the true value or beauty of something, especially if you do not take the time to do your own research on the matter. Overall, I am excited to start my new venture in Ireland, and as a geopolitical atmosphere stays healthy, I will look forward to a long and prosperous lifetime for my company in Ireland.